All right, I'm starting on lesson 10. This starts on page 232. We're going to go to File, Browse and Bridge. Okay. Once Bridge is open, we're going to navigate back over to the Student G Drive. Click on this PC. And then the Common G Drive. Go to Art, Computer Graphics. The 2018 Photoshop files. We're going to go to Lesson Files, Lesson 10. And remember that I never put the end files on there. So on number 6, it says double click the 10 palette _ start to open that file in Photoshop. Let's move over the bridge, or we can minimize it, and that's opened up in Photoshop. So changing your workspace is an important part of this project. On 232, it says click the Choose a Workspace icon at the top right corner of the application frame and choose the Painting Workspace. So if you hover, we can go to Painting. And so now we're in the Painting Workspace. Now we're going to click on the Zoom tool and zoom to see the tube of paint. We're zooming in to see this red tube of paint. I'm going to click the space bar, which turns my cursor into a hand tool, and I can move my file around so I can get that nice and centered. Select the eyedropper tool and click the red tube to sample its color. You can see that now my foreground swatch has changed over to red. Select the mixer brush in the tool panel. So here's your regular brush. You don't want that brush. This is your mixer brush, and if you hover, it will hopefully tell you that it's a mixer brush. You're going to click on that mixer brush. Oh, here's my mixer brush. There we go. This is your mixer brush. Click the mixer brush in the tool panel. So after we have that mixer brush selected, we go to Window, Brush Settings. To open the brush setting panel, select the first brush. The brush settings in the panel contain brush presets and several options for customizing those brushes. I'm on page 234. In the options bar, choose Dry from the pop-up menu of Blending Brush Combinations. So right here, we're going to go to Dry. When you select Dry, wet is set to 0. Load to 50%. Right here is load, it's 50%. And mix is not applicable. So number 2, paint in the area above the red tube. A solid red appears. As you continue to paint without releasing the mouse button, the paint eventually fades or runs out. So we can minimize this right here, and then you can paint. If we keep painting, it should just fade out. So I still have my mouse button pressed down, and you can see it faded out. Let's do that again. Step back. I'm going to zoom out just a little so you guys can see this better. and I'm going to paint, and you can see that it's going to eventually, the paint will fade out. Okay? Just like taking a real brush, dipping it in paint, your paint's going to go off your brush. Okay, so we're on number 3. This is with the eyedropper tool. Sample the blue color from the blue tube of paint. Select the mixer brush. For the blue paint, in the brush setting panel, we choose the Round Sketch Ballpoint Pen 50 brush, the first brush in the second row. So I'm noticing that how big my brush setting panel is depends on where my brush is set. So it helps to just kind of hover to figure out what brush is what. So if I hover over this one, this is sample brush 2. And then I keep going. I'm going to try and find that ballpoint pen one. It says it wants me to choose the Round Sketch Ballpoint Pen. And it says it's number 50. Round Sketch Ballpoint Pen. Okay, so it's actually not a 50 on here. This is a 60. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. Let's see what this says. Okay, I'm going to choose this one. Choose wet from the pop-up menu in the options bar. Paint above the blue tube. The paint mixes with the white background. Looks it's actually mixing with the red when I move over here. Choose dry from the menu in the options bar. And then paint again above the blue tube, and a much darker, more opaque blue appears and doesn't mix with the white background. Choose dry from the menu options bar, and then, okay, we already did that. That was number 6. Number 7 says sample the yellow color from the yellow paint tube. And then select the mixer brush. For the yellow paint in the brush settings panel, we choose the pencil KTW1 brush 35. Okay, so for my panel, mine is a 10 on here, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. Let's double check and make sure. Yeah, because it still says the KTW1. So that's what we're looking for. Choose dry from the menu in the options bar, which it's already dry. And then paint in the area over the yellow paint tube. You can see I've run out of paint. Choose very wet from the menu in the options bar. And then paint some more. Now the yellow mixes with the white background. Number 9. Okay, so number 9 says, sample the green color from the green paint tube. And then select the mixer brush. For the green paint in the brush settings, we chose the hard round 30 brush. We're going to take that size down to 30. And then choose dry from the menu in the options bar. And draw a zigzag line above the green paint. So I've turned the page to page 236. It says zoom out just enough to see the full paint palette and the paint tubes. Select the paint mixer brush in the layers panel. So the color you paint won't blend with the brown palette on the background layer. Oh no, they want us to come over here and they want us to choose the paint mix layer here. So make sure you change your layer and go to the paint mix layer. Okay. Use the eyedropper tool to sample the red color from the red paint tube. And then select the mixer brush in the brush settings panel and select a soft, round 30 brush. Okay. Then choose wet from the pop-up menu on the options bar and go over here and make that wet. And paint in the top circle on the paint palette. Click the clean the brush after each stroke icon in the options bar to deselect it. Right here. Use the eyedropper tool to sample the blue color. From the blue paint tube, and then use the mixer brush tool to paint in the same circle. Mixing red with blue until the color becomes purple. Red and blue make purple. Number 6. Use the eyedropper tool to sample the purple color from the circle that you just created. You can see it's purple over here. And then paint in the next circle. It's okay if it's not perfect. In the options bar, choose clean brush from the current brush